Welcome back, Bisons. Today is a special day because we're going to be making our first pumpkin candle. I genuinely have not made any candles in any jars besides like the jelly jars before, so this will be a learning experience. If you're curious how I make my candles, I will link my candle making video in the description. But for today, we will specialize in the pumpkin jar. We are making this specific candle for a fellow bison, and they requested pumpkin pie, which is a perfect scent for the pumpkin candle. So great choice, great choice. I'm thinking that I'm going to do 2 wicks. I'm hoping that will be good enough. I'll leave it up to the pumpkin jar purchasers to let me know if the 2 wicks is good or bad. I feel like 2 wicks will be good. Also, I don't know how much liquid these hold, so I'm just going to have one regular 8-ounce jar on standby and kind of and fill that one first. Well, I might fill the jelly jar first and then fill the rest of the liquid in here. I don't know. Just because I have to make 1 pound of wax per 1 ounce of fragrance oil. That's just like the easiest conversion. So I'm just gonna make that mixture and kind of divvy it up and see what happens. I have the jars in the oven warming up. They're glass, so I like to pre-warm them so that the wax doesn't pull away from the glass. Next, we're going to weigh out our wax. Anyways, I feel like it's been kind of a while since we have actually chatted here on this channel, because I've done a lot of like specific videos where the content is specifically about something, I guess. So I'm excited to just, do something and chat for once. It is still only August, like we're not even in the middle of August, and it's still like 90 degrees outside. I'm excited for fall. I already have a bunch of ideas for different fall videos that I want to do. If you have any fall themed videos that you want to see me do, feel free to let me know. And if I like the idea, I'll do it. If I don't like the idea, I won't do it. Because the big news of the hour for any fellow slushies is that Martin and Mandy just got engaged. I was very excited about that. Time to microwave. Sam and I both watched the engagement video on Mandy's channel, and we both teared up. Like, we watched it separately in different rooms, and we were both crying because of how cute it was. In addition to fall candles, I've also been making some wax melts. These are specifically at the request of my mom, so I made a couple of scents that she had requested, but I always have extras. So if you guys are more of a melter versus a burner, I can accommodate. Ugh, it smells so warm, so cinnamony, so pumpkiny. Got 1 ounce of fragrance oil. Yeah, if I do the wax melts, what I usually do is 2 8-ounce jars for candles, and then I use the remaining wax to fill 3 wax melt containers. I'm a very big logistics person. I like when things make sense, work out perfectly, and there's no wasted product. So that's kind of the mindset with the pumpkin candle. I'm trying to make the most out of the amount of candle that I make, if that makes sense. What's new with me is I just started a soldering project at work, and I was like down in the dumps this weekend. This project elevated my mood so high, and I started to think about it, and I was like, wow, all I do at work is read stuff, memorize stuff, click on things on computer, sit in chair, walk around. I don't know, I think I'm just getting a little insane in the brain with not really doing, because I really like doing. My last job I always did, if you know what I'm saying, was constantly doing, and that was too much. But now I'm not doing at all, but now I am. Moral of the story, the soldering project is bringing a little bit more of light back into my eyes, and I am actually excited to work on stuff for once. We've got our melted wax. Some other work-related lore is a couple weeks ago, I was working like an off-hours shift, and I was driving around, and I came back to the building I work in, and I see that there's a raccoon in a raccoon trap by the dumpsters. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, why are we trapping raccoons? So I go up to the trap and try and see how to like undo it, and I'm realizing as I'm looking at the trap that there's no way for me to undo the latch without putting myself in some kind of harm. And the last thing I want is to have to fill out like a work report saying that I got bit by a raccoon because I was undoing the traps that they put out. So instead, what I did is I sabotaged the other trap so that it couldn't catch a raccoon. But I'm just sitting here like, I work on a nature preserve. If the raccoons can't live there, where can they live? You know? Why are we trapping raccoons in nature? You know? And also, why do we care if they're in our dumpsters? Like, do raccoons really have any negatives? Like, I could be missing something, but like, I feel like raccoons just peacefully take some snacks out of your trash, have a picnic, and be cute. Climb tree. Anyways, for the rest of the week, I continuously set off the traps as soon as I got to work, and they now no longer have traps out there. So I don't know if I successfully played enough mind games to convince people there to just stop trying to control the raccoons. And at first I thought, okay, well maybe they're moving the raccoons just somewhere else. But then my supervisor told me that it's population control. And so now I'm puzzled, like, who are we to decide how many raccoons get to live? But thankfully the raccoons can live in peace because they are no longer being trapped. And if I see another trap, I will sabotage it. Wax is melted. It is time to consult the jars. This is where things get really serious. Now to place the wicks. This is gonna be stressful because normally I just shoot for a wick in the center and hope for the best. But with this double wick system, it's gonna take a little bit more effort. Let me just do the easy one first to build confidence. Okay, well I didn't even get that one even close to center, so great for a confidence builder. Okay, I'm just gonna go in and I'm not even gonna think. I think that's probably the best method. Okay, just gonna go in. Just gonna go in. Okay, okay. Let me put those down a little bit more. This is what we're looking at for placements. You can see how terribly off center I put this one. I'm genuinely trying. I just am that bad at it. I'm sorry. I'll try and center the wick as best as I can with that terrible placement, but we'll see. Hopefully that's a good placement. Now we'll fill the jars with wax. I did my best to line up those wicks as best I can. Now it is time to just label them and let them cure. As I am sitting here looking at the pumpkin jar, I'm realizing that I'm probably going to have to put the label, I don't even know if it's really hot. I don't even know if I can pick it up. The label is probably gonna have to go on the bottom of the jar, and that's just not gonna happen while it's not cured. So I will just label the singular jar. Here's what my pumpkin pie labels look like. I have 2 more orders for the pumpkin jar having the pumpkin pie scent in it, but I have no orders for the normal jars of the pumpkin pie, so I think I'm going to do another pumpkin jar, but then do 3 wax melts with the leftover wax because I do have some requests for the melts. Well, I had a little bit of a spiral off camera because I was staring at the pumpkin jar and 2 wicks just didn't feel like enough wicks, but I've already poured the wax, you know, so I started freaking out because I'm like, am I gonna mess up all these pumpkin candles? Looked online at the website and they do suggest 2 wicks 1 inch apart, which is what I did. I feel a little bit better, but if they burn poorly, I'm not gonna live that down. I will carry that weight with me for the rest of my life. But anyways, on to our next round of pumpkin pie candle jars. So initially, when I did my fall order, I ordered the 4-ounce bottle of pumpkin pie, and I was like, surely that'll be enough. There's no way I'm making that many pumpkin pie candles. But I'm going to be using 2 ounces of that alone just on these pumpkin jars. And that's without just making my regular batch of candles, or Squid is meowing at the wall again, or making the wax melts. So I surprise myself every year. I can never seem to get the correct estimation, but you know, it's better to sell out than to have too much stock. I guess I could mention the pumpkin pie fragrance notes for anyone unfamiliar, but what we're working with here is cinnamon, nutmeg, pumpkin, and vanilla. It's very true to the scent. Normally I never get wax on the counter, and I have somehow gotten wax literally everywhere. Like, it's even on my shirt. When should you burn the pumpkin candle? I would say that this is one of those dinner time candles, almost like a Thanksgiving candle. Like, you're about to have a bunch of people over to the house for a big dinner, and you start burning this candle around lunchtime. By the time it's dinner, the whole house is smelling like pumpkin pie. Yeah, I would say this is one of those like later fall candles, like late October, November. You're slowly starting to transition to Christmas stuff. That's when I would burn pumpkin pie. Today I was out for dinner with Sam and we were sitting by a window seat. We could see the road and there was this, so I'm gonna make fun of me because I can't remember. I want to say Ferrari or Lamborghini, one of the two. Can't think of what it was. It was red, if that helps. But it was parked on the side of the street. The guy gets in, puts the top down as he's driving away, rolls into the parking lot for the restaurant, going down the wrong way, like he entered a do not enter section, rips past, realizes a car's trying to come in, freaks out, drives around that guy, then continues to now circle the correct direction onto the street, into this parking lot, onto the street, into this parking lot. We cannot figure out what he's doing. Eventually he parks back in the street spot that he was parked in before, closes the top of the vehicle, and then like not even a minute later gets back into the car and keeps doing it again. And then eventually he goes into a parking spot for the parking lot, gets out, comes into the restaurant we were eating at, talks to the bartender for a little bit, and then just goes right back into his car, continues to do laps, parks on the street, and then comes by and picks up someone who was at the restaurant with us. And then she just like gets in the car and then he leaves for good. You might be saying, okay, maybe there's a time limit on the street parking. There wasn't. Maybe there wasn't enough parking spots in the parking lot. There was plenty. What was he doing? All I can think is excellent use of free will because I could never guess what his next move was going to be. It was always a puzzle. Also this weekend, I've got a bachelorette party in Nashville. Yeehaw. So, Bisons, comment down below what fall scent are you looking forward to burning this year? Like, do you have one that you're just itching to get out, but it's still too early yet, but you're already thinking about it? Comment down below. Is there any fall activities that are a must for you? Also comment that down below. There is a specific like pumpkin fair type thing, like it's not a pumpkin patch, it's like a pumpkin fair that I went to with Sam last fall, kind of on a whim. It was actually insane. There was like a cow roller coaster there. There was apple cider slushies with vanilla ice cream whipped around in the slushie. Those were delicious and they came with an apple cider donut, so sugar overload. So I definitely want to go and do that again because honestly, they really did it up. There was even like some haunted things, tons of stuff for like kids, you know, but I don't have kids. The cow roller coaster, I still can't get over that. The cow roller coaster was really something. I'll be excited to go there. I didn't do any pumpkins last year because I feel like the fall flew by for me last year and I ran out of time to do anything. But I want to be more intentional about it. I definitely want to carve a pumpkin. I'm really bad at carving pumpkins, but I always give it a shot. Which reminds me, there's this one time I was living in like this community of people where everyone was kind of just like not from the area, but we're all living together in this area. Generally don't know how to explain it, but picture a community of a bunch of people stuck together. And the people that were in charge of like the housing did a pumpkin carving contest, and they said if you sign up you get a free pumpkin. So of course I signed up because I want a free pumpkin. And I happened to get married that weekend, and then the housing office emails me and goes, please submit a picture of your carved pumpkin. I look at my email, side-eye my uncarved pumpkin sitting in the kitchen, and go, oh, so they wanted proof that I carved the pumpkin. My bad. So I speedily carve a face on the pumpkin. The issue is that the house I was living in, the kitchen was stocked. So I pulled a knife, like from the kitchen, dullest knife I've ever used in my entire life. I could not cut through this pumpkin to save my life. It was actually abysmal. I had the most, I'll see if I can find a picture and I will insert the picture here under my pumpkin so you can see how pitiful the pumpkin is. So I thought, you know, they're not gonna do anything with this, right? Every year, like clockwork, they email everyone to do a pumpkin carving contest and they include that photo as inspiration. Mind you, everyone else has these intricate, wonderful works of art, and that is my pumpkin. It's like year after year. I swear, if I see that they do it again this year and have me on there, like, that can't be encouraging people to carve pumpkins. I just don't see how that's possible. But moral of the story, I cannot carve a pumpkin to save my life, but I do enjoy the task. And I really like the feeling of scooping out all of the pumpkin seeds. It is both a nightmare and a satisfying texture to experience with your bare hands. Round 2 of placing the wicks. I hope that it goes a little bit better this time, or maybe I'll feel a little more confident. Trying to enjoy my peaceful, quiet, childless night. Okay. Okay, I should probably pour the wax melts first, I think, and then fill the jar with the rest of the wax. I think that will be a good idea. Feeling a little bit better. Feeling a little bit better. Here are the wax melt trays. This is kind of hard to see because they are just clear. I poured that a little too fast. So these we will just let cool. Yesterday when I was making candles, my cats kept trying to sabotage my wax melts. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. Back to trying to pour in the jar. Okay, Squidward is like actually losing his mind right now. All right, well now both pumpkin pie pumpkin jars are complete. I'm going to let them cure overnight and then I'm gonna put their labels on the bottom of the jar, trim the wicks, and then add their cute little lids. Once these wax melts dry, I'm going to put the label on the lids like this so those are ready to go. And hopefully the candles burn wonderfully. If any of you other candle science gurus have ordered these pumpkin jars, how many wicks do you put in them? How are they burning? What scents are you using? I need to know this information. I'm excited to be finally making fall scents. I'm excited for the fall season to arrive. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to join the herd.